This video is going to look at some of the sorting options available in Adaptable, our market-leading AG Grid add-on. And there's really two things that you can do in Adaptable regarding sorting. The first is more basic, but let's start with that. And that is that anything in AG Grid which is dealing with sorting, Adaptable honours and extends. So just as in AG Grid, you can create multiple column sorts, so you can do it in Adaptable as well. And then what Adaptable offers you is the ability to save and define it. So if you have a look at this example here, we've created two layouts. One's called, in fact, let's scroll down, one's called sorted layout, one's called grouped layout, and in each you can see that there's different levels of sorting, and they're all defined. So if you go into the layout, you can see kind of what the sorted columns are. You can define whether it's sorted ascending or descending, and obviously any changes you make are then stored into your layout state. So if you decide instead you want to sort by name ascending and then by language descending, that will now get sorted and saved into my layout. So that's basic column sorting. But really where the real power of sorting in Adaptable lies is with custom sorts. That's when you don't want to sort a column according to the traditional order. The traditional order, as we say, is strings are alphabetical, numbers highest to lowest, dates oldest to newest. But sometimes, for instance, if you have a ratings column or a tenor column, or even something more subjective like maybe a sector column or a currency, or really any column at all, you might want to sort the values in a non-standard order. And like most things in Adaptable, there's two ways of doing that. One through config and the UI, and the second through functions. So let's look at the first. We call it here hard-coded values. And simply put, what that means is you can provide Adaptable with a list of the values by which you want to sort a column. So let's open up this custom sort values demo. Let's make that full screen. And if we go into the, you can see here, first of all, we're sorting by license. And you can see that even though we're sorting license ascending order, you've got other, and then you've got BSD3 clause and then MIT. So you've got other first. And then you've got a second sort of language. But again, you can see TypeScript is coming before JavaScript, which is coming before HTML. So what's happening here? Well, that's because they are custom sorts. We've provided Adaptable in our predefined config with custom sort order. So we've said that license will sort first by other, and then any values which are not supplied will be alphabetical order. And then we've said that language will sort first by TypeScript and then by JavaScript, and then again any other values will be alphabetical. And then obviously the user can create as many of their own custom sorts as they want, and they will then be saved into their state. So it's a very good example in Adaptable of how you as developers can provide your users with some we might call universal objects, say for instance a ratings column or a tenor column, where everyone will have the same custom sort. And then for a sector column, each user can have whatever sort he or she wants depending on his or her requirements. So let's for instance create a custom sort for the name column. So we'll click on name as the column, and then when we go into the sort order, we see all the values in the grid. I won't go into it now, but there are ways of limiting what values appear if you wanted to. But let's decide we always want to see Preact first, then React, then Solid, and then Ember. So and then finally jQuery. So this is going to be our sort order. In fact, let's say we will have Solid first. So it's Solid, Preact, this order: Solid, Ember, React, Preact, jQuery, everything else alphabetical. So we create our sort order. We can see the summary if we want. Finish. And now if I sort by name, you can see there we are. It sorted it according to the order that we've given it. So that's hard-coded values, where either the developer at design time or the user at runtime can list the values by which that column will be sorted. But sometimes you might need something a bit more bespoke or a bit more powerful. And in that example, you are able to provide what we call custom sort comparers. These are functions that you as the developer provide to Adaptable. You can choose the scope, so you can do it just for one column, or you can say this will apply to all numeric or all date columns if you wanted to. And essentially, it's a simple function that takes two cell values and their corresponding row nodes, and you return -1, 0, or 1, depending on what the sort order should be. There's two examples here. We're ordering issue change, and you can see that the issue change column is essentially ignoring the minus. It's just showing the number as is. And then we've also got another sort order on name. And what's happened here is we have provided two of these comparer functions, two custom sort comparers. The first one was weak issue change, and all we've done is a math abs. So essentially we've ignored for each value whether it's plus or minus. So and the nice thing about providing a compare is we don't need to know all the values. It will just work on any value in the grid. And the second one is a more complicated example, but in this example here, we've basically decided we're going to sort the name column according to according to the value in the stars column, in the GitHub stars. So in fact, you can see it here. You can see it's done that way. Name is done according to stars. And the reason why it's done it is because we've picked it up from here and we provided a custom comparer. So there we are. There's not much else to it. It's a very useful example of how Adaptable extends AGGrid. We work with AGGrid in terms of column sorting to allow users to provide as many sorts as they want, and then we extend AGGrid through custom sorts to allow either developers at design time through both values or comparers, or users at runtime through the wizard to provide their own custom sorting. As always, thank you for watching. Any questions, do please get in touch with us and we'll be happy to give you a personalized demo.